What's up, fam? This is your girl Amanda, and I'm coming back to y'all with Amanda Vlogs. So let's talk DJ Envy. DJ Envy is a radio talk show host on The Breakfast Club, which is Power 105.1. Okay, so they were talking about the presidential debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And so they were talking about the stop and frisk policy. And Donald said that, Chicago, you do stop and frisk, which really worked very well. And he went on to say that we need to take the guns away from these people who have them and that are bad people who shouldn't have them. So Donald Trump basically supports the stop and frisk policy. And DJ Envy went on the radio station and basically tried to legitimize the effectiveness of the NYPD stop and frisk policy, but it was actually ruled unconstitutional in 2013. And stop and frisk basically gives the cops the right to stop and frisk anyone who looks suspicious, okay? Anyone who looks suspicious, they feel the need to stop and frisk them to search for guns, weapons, drugs, contraband, and things like that. But mainly all these stop and frisk are happening to the Black and Latino men. It's more happening to them than any other race. But listen to DJ Envy's opinion about the situation at hand.
I personally didn't believe in stop and frisk at first. I got pulled over before for a stop and frisk incident when I was younger, but I was at a bad place at the bad time where I shouldn't have been. It was late at night, and they stopped and frisked me. I didn't have anything on. I wasn't arrested. But now on the other side of it, now thinking about all the guns that it has pulled off in certain areas, I think stop and frisk is a good thing when it's done right. And when I say when it's done right, in areas where there's criminal activity, a lot of criminal activity, a lot of shootings, a lot of robberies, a lot of assaults, I think the stop and frisk will work in those areas, whether it's Chicago, and not the whole Chicago, in the areas where crime is high. In Newark, not the whole Newark, in Newark where the crime is high. In Patterson, in those places, absolutely positive.
I don't think bringing back stop and frisk is the answer, especially when there's no proof that stop and frisk even worked in the first place.
Well, they got a lot of guns off the street. The way that the NYPD was doing it was unconstitutional. They didn't do it the way that it was supposed to be done. That's why they pulled it from New York.
Well, they had a 2013 report from the New York Attorney General that found that out of 2.4 million stops by police between 2009 and 2012, the stops resulted in a 3% conviction rate, and just 0.1% of the total stops went on to a violent crime conviction. So I don't
know how effective that is.
Yeah, I don't see how effective.
Well, they said the NYPD actually didn't do it right. They were stopping frisking anybody and didn't do areas where it was a lot of crime in those areas. They said if that was done the right way, it probably would be a lot higher. But they did get a lot of guns off the street regardless, even if you could say it's a 1% or 0.1%. They got tons of guns off the street, which is the most important thing.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's a fact. I just don't know. I don't know.
All right.
So what was his reasoning behind supporting this stop and frisk policy, you may ask? Okay, so actually DJ Envy reveals on air that an attempted carjacking happened last week. So someone tried to attempt to carjack his car last week. He said that on his way to work, a car with a police light pulled up behind him. He grew suspicious because the light was all blue when he knew that the New York, New Jersey area cops' car lights were red and blue. And so therefore he decided not to stop. And moments later, the car decides to hit the back of his, and it eventually leads to a masked gunman jumping out and shooting at his car. And, you know, he was okay in the situation or whatnot, but listen to what he had to say.
Trending a lot on social media yesterday. He was catching that slander.
For your opinion?
Yeah, for your opinion on stop and frisk, an opinion
Right.
I didn't agree with, Angela Yee didn't agree with, and you know everybody's been tweeting me since yesterday. Oh, you got to give DJ Envy Donkey of the Day. Global Grind even did an article, but you know it's kind of difficult for me to give you Donkey of the Day in this situation because I have a lot more information than the general public has, and I would like for you to express some of that information as to why you have the frustration you do over all these guns on the street.
All right. Well, I think we spoke about stop and frisk a couple of months ago, and I was like, I'm totally against it. And then a couple of incidents started happening. I started reading in the paper, and then something happened to me last week, Thursday morning on my way to work. Driving to work.
But you didn't tell us about it.
No, I didn't tell you about it because you guys like to make fun of things. I had to find out where it was coming from and make sure that the suspects were caught before you made fun of it.
So you waited to tell us this weekend at the iHeart Festival while we was drunk, and you still got made fun of. But continue.
Right. So as I was on my way to work, car pulls up behind me, SUV, and turns on a police light. When the police light comes on, I'm looking in my rearview mirror, and I'm like, this police light, something doesn't feel right about this.
Very smart detail that was missing from the police light. Tell them what it was. Because a lot of people would have stopped.
It was a red light. The police light was all blue. And in New York and New Jersey, the police lights have to have, it's red and blue. But in certain places down south, the police lights are only blue, I found out.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about this.
So in New York and New Jersey, the police lights are red and blue. So when I see the blue light, I'm thinking to myself, this just doesn't feel right. So I don't pull over. I'm still driving. About 30 seconds later, the car rams into the back of me. Boom.
Tell them what kind of car you was driving to, by the way.
No, I don't need to tell them what kind of car it was.
Okay, I will, but keep going.
At this point, I'm 96% sure that it's not a cop, but I'm still not 100% sure because you watch these movies and you see the police hit people in the back to pull them over and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm still not sure. So I pick up the speed a little bit. So now I go from like 60, 70, I'm doing like 100. They hit me again. Boom! I realize it's not a cop.
Okay.
I take off. When I take off, there's a toll. I go through the toll. When I go through the toll, you got to slow down. There's a curve. There's cars going through the toll. So when I slow down, we go through the easy pass. They go through the easy pass behind me. So now they're side by side. And, I look over and I can see it's not a cop. I press the brakes hard. Now we're on the highway. Press the brakes hard. So now they press their brakes hard, but now they're in front of me. Dude hops out the car. I put the car in reverse, and now I'm backing down the highway, going the opposite way on the highway. So cars are coming at me doing high speeds, and I'm going the other way. Dude hops out, black mask, black hoodie, long sleeves. Mm-hmm. It was a beautiful day that day. It was like 88 degrees. Mm-hmm. All black. Mm-hmm. Pistol in hand, shooting at my car.
How many times did you shot the car?
3 times.
Okay.
3 bullet holes in my car. Bam, 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 bam.
Okay, so what he had to say was a lot longer, so I'm just going to elaborate on what he was talking about. So the reason why he legitimized and defends the stop and frisk policy is because of this carjacking that happened to him last week. The people that tried to carjack him shot his car up. They shot it up 3 times. And so he feels the need for these guns to get off the streets because he could have easily been killed. He was saying that he has 5 kids to take care of and a wife and things like that, and he needs to be here to take care of his family. And he said that in order to be safe, basically get these guns away from these people, the bad people that is. So basically that's what he was saying, and so that's why he, I guess, felt the need to legitimize the stop and frisk policy. But that's his opinion, y'all. He is entitled to his opinion, and whether I agree with it, I don't agree with it. I just feel like this stop and frisk policy is crazy because a lot of the times they're stopping and frisking the wrong fucking person. Just because a person looks suspicious does not mean that they are suspicious. Hell, they were stopping and frisking any damn body, And just because you look suspicious doesn't mean that you are suspicious. You get what I'm saying? Because we've seen people on the news that did not look suspicious, but they blew shit up and they killed people. They looked over them because they did not look or have that look of suspicion, but in actuality they were crooked and they were killers and murderers, but they overlooked them because they didn't have that look. But they looked at mainly the blacks and Latinos, which they are racially profiling these people already because of the color of their skin, because blacks and Latinos look suspicious. Rarely do you see them stopping and frisking a white man or Asian man or anything like that. Those the motherfuckers you need to be stopping and frisking, okay? Because those the ones who got bombs and guns stashed in their pants and underwear and shit like that. That's what you need to do. That's who you need to be looking out for, okay? So I don't think it was effective, and it was deemed unconstitutional, and it's just a violation of people. I could be wearing a hoodie, and I'm the most innocent person in the world. I ain't trying to kill nobody. I ain't trying to have no guns, weed, or anything like that. But I get stopped and I get violated because I look suspicious. Fuck out of here with that, y'all. But anyway, y'all, comment down below if you like. If you are new to my channel, subscribe and stay tuned for many more videos.